Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to focus in on Amazon and show you 3 different channels that I'm looking at. Now, the goal of all of these channels is to then bring them together into really one cohesive picture where we can build a plan that allows us to take advantage of this volatility. Now, let's get started with the closest, most recent channel that we have inside of Amazon, and that's this narrow channel that Amazon has been trading inside of for now about 5 days. We've really bounced to the bottom of this channel, then to the top, back down to the bottom, back to the top, back to the bottom, and we're currently hovering in the bottom half of this channel range right now. So that's channel number 1. Keep in mind, we're trading inside of a very narrow channel here, just 5 days, but still a narrow channel, and we're in the bottom half of that channel as of this moment. Now, knowing that, let's come into a daily time frame chart next. And that allows us to see the bigger term picture a little bit cleaner. And that's this longer term downtrending channel that's still very much intact. Inside of that channel, we're currently in the middle, smack dab in the middle, and we filled the gap that we had open. The bottom end of this channel is still a bit of a ways away, but for the most part here, we can very clearly establish that we've been making lower highs along the way, and the trend is still very much to the downside. Now that brings me to the third channel, which is really not a channel, but more a trend line. And for that, we can come into our weekly time frame chart here. I'll remove this channel for the time being. And now we can draw a trend line out that really connects this support along with last week's support. And then we can go ahead and extend that to the right side along with activate this so it touches this trend line. So currently we're bouncing into support, where we expect rather some buyers to come in and pick up support here, but still for the most part have a longer term downtrend that we'd like to find a better way to try and participate in. Now with that in mind, if we come back to that daily time frame chart, and I'll redraw that small channel that we had, the intraday channel, so that we can go ahead and try and create a game plan here. So now coming inside of that 5-minute time frame one more time, the most obvious answer here is we're looking for price action to first break outside of this channel. So until it does that, you might be looking at buying towards the bottom of the channel, which right now is near 113, and trying to ride that up, at least for a bounce up where buyers can pick up price action to the midline of that channel, which as of right now is about 116. So call that a gap of right around $3 here, where you might have a smaller tradable range inside of Amazon. Now that gap also overlaps with this bottom trend line that we've now bounced off of, so you would have a bit of a double whammy there. This 113 zone really would lend to that idea. So that's our shorter term trade ideas, and to try and participate in this, you might even do something like take advantage of the volatility box here, and take advantage of zones wherever price action overlaps with our volatility zones, where the trend lines also line up. So you're really bringing together a confluence of a few different technical analysis indicators. In this case, volatility along with channels, trend lines, and price action. So here's an example of that inside of Amazon. But the preferred entry, if we do get it, is whenever price action, or rather if price action rides all the way up to the top of this channel, which as of right now is about 119, and that overlaps with the volatility box zones, I think that sets up for a really nice longer term opportunity to try and ride what is still the longer term downtrend, which is still intact. So that's my plan in terms of ways to play this. I'm looking to try and ride out this channel for as long as possible. We just laid out ways to do that using intraday price activity. If we get towards the top end of this channel, also overlapping with volatility box zones, that would be a really nice cue to get short, also allow you to get short where we had this last candle, really near that 120 price point, looking to try and play at the very least to our midline, which is 110. So there, your range expands a little bit up to about, let's call it $10 in terms of what you could try and get out of this trade. Now, in terms of longer term profits here, where if price action does eventually just break out of this trend line, we have 110, of course, but then we have that nice round number of 100, which would be where we had previous support. And say we do break that, that then really opens up room for the bottom end of this channel. We have 95, 90, 85, 80, and I think 80 is really where the bottom end of this channel would currently be. So that's how I'm looking at price action inside of Amazon, along with ways to try and take advantage of some of the volatility we see. The last thing I'll call out is on the weekly time frame, I noticed something which I thought was a bit peculiar. Now, not only do we have a slingshot squeeze to the downside, but every single time we've had our edge signals confirmation. That's the edge signals indicator right here, which is our overbought, oversold indicator. Every single time we've had either the green or the red arrows, take a look to see what price action does. Green arrow, once we're inside of that channel, we tag the top end of it. Another oversold arrow, tag the top end of that channel. One more time, tag the top end of that channel. Now, most recently, we've gotten our very first oversold signal, so I'm really looking at the inverse of this to happen, where every time we had an overbought signal, we tag the top of the channel. Now, every time we have an oversold signal, I'm looking to tag the bottom of this channel. And to support that, we also have Prime Day coming up, which might act as a volatility catalyst, especially if Prime Day happens to fall flat on its face. Now, Prime Day usually doesn't move markets, but that could be the one volatility catalyst that we are aware of well ahead of time in the near-term future that allows us to take advantage of this price action. All right, I hope you found this video useful. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in the next update.